will somehow win the NFC East? Overreaction or not?
It's not an overreaction. This is incredible. All that has to happen is they have to beat the Giants, and then the Eagles have to beat Washington. That's it. That means Dallas wins the NFC East. We're to the point where two completely plausible outcomes could deliver an outcome that we would have imagined a month ago. It is not an overreaction. In fact, it's quite possible.
Can you believe that? How about this? Brian Flores should be the coach of the year. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
Oh, not an overreaction. No, look, it's a good race. The guy that coached Buffalo last night belongs in the discussion along with a lot of other people. But what Flores is doing right now with his quarterback is some serious coaching. This isn't just give the award to the team that exceeded expectations. This guy is managing his locker room, his players, his quarterback situation in an innovative and successful way. I think what we're watching him do in terms of the job on a day-to-day basis obviously puts him in that conversation.
Okay, and after their comeback win versus the Colts, the Steelers' problems are behind them. Overreaction or not?
I think that's an overreaction. I don't think we wipe away as lousy a month as the Steelers had based on 20 good game minutes of football, which is what we saw. Look, halfway through the third quarter, they were getting stuffed at the goal line and looked like they had no chance to score. Then they sprung to life. They still needed almost 50 yards of pass interference penalties on their final scoring drive to go ahead. So I think there are some issues with the Steelers that have been there all year that surfaced in December, and that while they disappeared for about an hour on Sunday, are still likely to trouble them come playoff time.
Just 1 hour. All right, Marcus. Jeff, let me bring you back in. Marcus, I'll start with you. Are the Steelers' problems behind them?
No. Hell no, they ain't behind them, Ryan. Like, listen, this is a part of the makeup of this team. Now, like, I don't want to disregard or dismiss the fact that this is a Mike Tomlin-led team with Ben Roethlisberger with a lot of experience and a team that's been there with still really good players. But no, their problems aren't behind them. I like the fact that they hit big plays down the field. Graj just told you about the yards that they were given up for penalties. But when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think the issues remain. Right? Offensively, they had to have a bunch of explosive plays. Can they carry that for 4 quarters? Because now we're talking about teams that you're going to have to do that against. And then, too, like, I don't know about everybody else, and I know Jeff Saturday is a Colts fan. I was so disgusted with Matt Eberflus playing in the second half for the Indianapolis Colts. I almost broke my TV screen. He played vanilla, tried to play these simple coverages, didn't add any pressure to Big Ben, who we know doesn't move well in the pocket, and allowed these guys to continue to be one-on-one in the passing game. So, yeah, they were not gifted, but they took advantage of some very sketchy defensive play calling by Matt Eberflus, and then Ben took advantage of that over the top. But I still saw some of the same lingering issues. I still saw the non-consistent run game and things that weren't going to affect them well going forward in the playoffs. So, no, it didn't change my mind at all.
So, Jeff, let me ask this a little bit differently. I know you weren't high on them in terms of how far they'd go in the playoffs before this weekend. Did you see anything this weekend from that game that makes you feel differently?
Not at all. Listen, they beat the Colts, and Swagoo made some great points, and so did Dan, right? They played 1 quarter and 3 minutes of really good football, but they got stuffed on the goal line. Listen, their offensive line ranks 29th in pass protection win rate. I think they're 28 in wins and rush rate. So when you're talking about an offensive line that's played that poorly, big plays definitely help. I have no problem. They made some big plays against the Colts on Sunday. Can you consistently do that in the playoffs? I just don't see that happening. And listen, I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's a heck of a football coach. He gets his guys as motivated as possible. But at the end of the day, the trenches matter. And when your offensive line isn't playing up to par, you're going to have tough sledding. And again, teams aren't just going to let you drop back and hit big plays. They're going to bring pressures. They're going to try to make Big Ben pump fake it or get rid of it so fast guys can rally up. The Colts did not do a good job, really, in all 3 phases in the fourth quarter. And they will admittedly say that. They couldn't convert first down. They stopped running the football. Everything they could do wrong, they did to give that game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers took advantage of it. That will not continue in playoff football.
All right, so we'll see how this plays out, because this is a Steelers team that really came on in that second half. But the bottom line is, this is a team that offensively has just been stuck for so long. And so many people think, are the Bills to the Chiefs at this point?
Oh, very serious. Look, the Chiefs beat them the first time around when they played this year, but since then, the Bills have won 8 out of 9 games. The only loss was the DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary catch at the last second against them. So there's no one hotter than them right now. And look, they've answered every question. You go back to preseason, talk to people about the Bills. They would ask about, will Josh Allen take the next step? He certainly has. Did they overpay for Stephon Diggs? Is he a real number 1 receiver? He certainly is. People liked this team coming into the year, and whatever questions were still outstanding have been answered in an extremely positive way. Ryan, they're doing everything right. They're even wearing masks for their post-game interview like you're supposed to. I mean, like they're not making any mistakes at all right now. I think the Bills are a very scary team.
They're safe. They're upright. They're doing everything they should. How about that? You know who's kind of falling down in all that, though? And let's talk about this. The New England Patriots. And Jeff and Marcus, I want to ask you about this. I think it's because we are used to seeing them so successful for so many years. So, Jeff, Saturday, I ask you, what should the Patriots do to try to right this ship and return to the top of the AFC?
Let 2020 end. Like get our opt-outs back.
That's the same for all of us.
That's what they're hoping right now. It can't end fast enough. I can tell you, Bill Belichick last night was like, I'm ready. He's going to load up the truck first, man. I mean, he's ready for this year to end. Now, in all seriousness, though, they need to address the quarterback position. I mean, it's a glaring issue. Cam Newton has not played to the level he wanted to play at. The Patriots definitely aren't happy with the level that he's played at. But let's not forget, man, Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, this whole staff knows how to coach football. When their team comes back next year and they get all the 8 opt-out guys back, they address their quarterback position, I'm assuming in free agency, this is still a team to be reckoned with. Don't hit the panic button on the Patriots. Like, let's be real careful that we're just going to act like the Bills and the Dolphins are going to run through the AFC East the next 10 years. It was 20 years of dominance. Bill Belichick isn't just going to relinquish that and let everybody else walk on their happy way. He's going to find a way to right this ship, guaranteed.
Okay, Marcus, what do you think?
Listen, I'm in the same vein with Jeff Saturday. The bottom line is this, like, for as much credit, and this is why I've always said, like, as great as coaches are, and I don't want to knock that down any level, as great as coaches are, and as much as you need good coaching, you could coach your butt off. If you don't have the players, you just might as well coach to the damn wall. And that's what the New England Patriots ran into this year. Listen, for all intents and purposes, that 6-9 football team now that we saw play last night could easily be a 2-14 team. But because of coaching, they were able to create some things and get some things going in some of these games in order to squeak out some wins. They played Kansas City tough. It went down with Buffalo the first game, a Cam Newton fumble, or they might win that game. So listen, to Jeff's point, Bill Belichick will get it right. The confidence is still there in this coaching staff. They need to address the quarterback position. Right now, they do not have a quarterback on their roster that I feel like they can win with and have success against what Buffalo and Miami is doing. If they can get that part figured out and get the opt-outs back, we'll see New England right back in it. We'll see them being able to create things to help them win games and put teams in a bad way. And let's not forget, y'all, like, this is Bill Belichick. Everybody keep talking about missing in the draft. Well, he damn sure don't miss in free agency much because this team has won a lot of Super Bowls because of free agents coming over. So I'm sure he'll be super active as this season goes along.
Okay, we shall see what they do. They got a lot to do.
Set him down is a keeper. That is a Tuesday staple.
Get some of this. Get some of that. Throw him out the club. Swagoo, throw him out the club. You see him? 1 pancake, 2 pancakes, 3 pancakes. Oh!
It makes me hungry. All right. It's time for Sat Him Down with my man Jeff Saturday. Jeff's going to go through his best blocks from the weekend. But up first, there's a little bit of a special pancake. Jeff, you have the floor.
Oh, man, listen, I'm so happy you're here so you can finally see what this is all about. Watch Sam Darnold break contain, ends up getting in there. Bam! Good heavens. We talk about him throwing it. I don't care about him throwing it. I want to see that action right there. Right? Listen, that's a 1 pancaker, but he gave Smith the business in. You talk about a willing participant. Sam Darnold, willing participant to play smash mouth football. One pancake on that sat him down. You got to absolutely love it. Trent Williams, good gracious. He's like a weekly thing right here. He is throwing dudes out the club. Swagoo, watch my man toss him. He ain't afraid. Gives him that right arm. Gives him the hook.